In this video, we will talk about the different organ systems in the body. Then we will discuss how a spinal cord injury can alter their functioning. We already know that the nervous system includes the brain, spinal cord and nerves, and the spinal cord acts as a mediator between the brain and the body. Along with producing a conscious movement, the nervous system also controls functioning of vital organs through connections traveling to the organs via spinal cord. It is responsible for processes like regulating the blood pressure, keeping the body warm or cool, and injury at higher levels can lead to cardiac dysfunctions. After spinal cord injury, nervous system cannot be directly treated, but the complications arising from organ systems under control of nervous system can be managed and retrain the person to an optimal extent. The musculoskeletal system is made of bones which provide a supportive frame to the human body and attach to each other to form joints, aiding movement. It also includes muscles which produce movements when asked by the nervous system. The nerves to the muscle also help in maintaining their resting tension to optimally support postures. Thus, the musculoskeletal system, under the influence of the brain and spinal cord, provides a functional platform for many abilities in our day-to-day life. Soon after the spinal cord injury, the most evident effect on the body is loss of movement, which we call the paralysis. The resting tone may either increase, leading to continuous spasms, known as spasticity, or may decrease so much that the muscle cannot maintain posture anymore. The affected muscle loses bulk and shrinks. Our skin is complex and multifunctional. The skin and its various appendages, including the hair, nails, and sweat glands, act as a barrier between the body and infections, provides a sensory interface between the body and the outside world. It also plays an important role in temperature regulation of the body and excretion of wastes through sweat. A spinal cord injury blocks the sensation from the skin. Thus, skin fails to provide a sensory feedback, protective barrier, and if the injury is at the neck, regulation of the body temperature. All these changes escalate into a risk of developing pressure ulcers. However, if one regularly inspects the skin, does pressure relief, uses appropriate devices like cushion and regulate the temperature, complications can be avoided. The urinary system has two kidneys which filter blood of unnecessary substances and reabsorb water, forming the urine. Kidneys then send the urine to the urinary bladder through two tubes called ureters. The urinary bladder is a muscular organ that stores the urine before expelling it out of the body through the urethra. There are muscular sphincters in the bladder that act like taps to control the flow of the urine. This process of sensing the urge to urinate and passing the urine is controlled by the nervous system with the help of the spinal cord. After a spinal cord injury, you may find it difficult to pass urine on your own. An appropriate bladder program can deal with such issues. It starts at the mouth and ends at the anus, and it functions with the help of the spinal cord. Digestive system is responsible for digesting and absorbing nutrients from food and expelling body waste in form of feces. Depending on the severity of the spinal cord injury, a person may experience retention of feces or incontinence, which in other words are areflexive and reflexive bowel, respectively. Compromised bowel function may impact social activities and quality of life. However, this can be managed with a well-planned bowel program. The cardiovascular system circulates the blood in the body. The heart receives and sends the blood to various parts of the body through a network of tubes called arteries, veins, and capillaries. However, the cardiovascular system has no role in controlling the activity of the muscles in the body. Based on the severity of the spinal cord injury, the cardiovascular system dysfunction can either manifest as autonomic dysreflexia, where a sudden rise in blood pressure is seen along with other symptoms, or a drop in blood pressure while trying to sit or stand, known as postural hypotension. A person with loss of muscle power in the lower body may be at risk of developing blood clots called DVT if they are not very active. With the right rehabilitation and active lifestyle, a person with spinal cord injury can overcome the cardiovascular complications. Air enters the human body through the nose and mouth, travels through a set of tubes called airways, and gets absorbed into the blood deep within the lungs. The respiratory system infuses oxygen in the blood and removes carbon dioxide from it. Coughing is a forceful muscular mechanism in our body that protects our lungs by keeping it clear of foreign bodies and excessive secretions. An effective cough depends on the working muscles in the chest and the abdomen. People with high cervical or thoracic spinal cord injury may have difficulty in coughing due to paralysis of chest muscles. However, they can be trained to manage these complications. Internal and external organs in both males and females are collectively responsible for reproduction and are controlled by the nervous system through the help of the spinal cord. The sexual rehabilitation and counseling for a person with spinal cord injury will ensure optimal functioning of the reproductive system. They will be able to bear children and have a healthy sexual life. In our subsequent videos, we will discuss how we can manage the issues arising out of spinal cord injury effectively.